first and 10 list, and the other side of the game on Saturday, where I make the prediction after last week that Butch Jones would probably not coach another game for Tennessee and would not do his weekly press conference this week, coming off of what we all thought was going to be a loss to the Alabama Crimson Tide. But Butch Jones is, at least for now, sticking around. And I thought Mike Griffith, who covers Tennessee for SECCountry.com and makes frequent appearances here on AT&T SEC Country Live, had an interesting report up at SECCountry.com looking at the future for Jones. What Mike writes is, a source close to the Tennessee program told SEC Country before the game against Alabama that an Alabama loss would not necessarily make Jones' termination imminent. But the quote here is, the Kentucky game will be crucial, the source said. Are you okay with the remainder of the season for Tennessee being an opportunity for Butch Jones to save his job?
No, and not only am I not okay with it, I don't believe it. I don't believe for 1 second that you have a Tennessee team, by the way, who is an underdog to Kentucky this year. I don't see how him going out and dealing with things throughout the end of the schedule is going to save his job. Kentucky, Southern Miss, Mizzou, LSU, Vanderbilt. And to me, even if he runs that slate, this is a Tennessee team who hasn't scored an offensive touchdown, like I said, since the first half against UMass.
Yeah.
You haven't been close against Georgia. You haven't been close against Alabama. You get beat by a bad Florida team. I don't know, and this is just my opinion, and obviously Tennessee fans are going to feel their own way. I just don't know what they're waiting on. What are you waiting on? Are you really waiting to see if you get beat by Kentucky? This is a proud Tennessee program. Are you really waiting to see if you get beat by Kentucky to fire your coach? I don't believe that that's what's going to save him. Not only that, but I don't think that that's actually true what Mike Griffith said. I'm sure that he heard that. But even if this guy runs the table, I've got to believe he's going to get fired.
Well, one of the reasons why I think it's a bad idea for Tennessee is because there's a chance this could happen. It's not some great event. In the LSU game, looks tougher for Tennessee now than it probably did 2 or 3 weeks ago. But this is still not some gauntlet of a schedule where Jones would necessarily prove all that much if he were to go out and win all these games. Maybe this is sort of an arbitrary line in the sand to draw, but I would have been okay with Tennessee keeping Jones after a 9-3 season, which included a win against South Carolina, then the loss to Alabama, but that's not going to happen. The South Carolina game was given away, and so it's almost like you've moved the goalpost here in another direction to make it a little easier for Butch Jones to cross it by saying, okay, you didn't beat South Carolina, we never even counted the Alabama game, but now you got to beat Kentucky. At that point in time, you're setting the bar so low that he actually might surpass it, and that leads to a great point that you brought up. Is that good enough for Tennessee? Does that give you enough to kind of hold on to recruiting class, which based on a national ranking standpoint still looks okay, but the truth is Tennessee's either about to have or already had decommitments, line up, long list of decommitments coming here. Holding a class together in December, which there is an early signing period this year, holding that class together in December with Butch Jones your head coach is going to be easier said than done. I would have made the move right after the Alabama game. That way you don't run the risk of him playing and coaching so well that you're forced to keep him, because keeping him is a consolation prize.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think, obviously the opinions come out, and Paul Feinbaum said that maybe his buyout's a little bit less if they don't make a bowl game. Maybe that's something they're waiting on to the end of the year, see if they don't have to pay him as big of a buyout. But it's like I said, if you're really going to measure your head coach against Kentucky, a proud Tennessee program, and you're going to see if he beats Kentucky as an underdog, if he's going to try to find a way to beat Kentucky, I just don't believe it. I think there's other sources to look at. I think that you can look at, like you said, possibly keeping your recruiting class together, making the buyout a little smaller. Maybe they already have their feelers out to some of these coaches, specifically the ones that are unemployed, Gruden, Kelly, Les Miles. I don't know who it is. Maybe you already have your feelers out. Maybe you want that transition to be very quick so the recruits don't leave. That's the only thing I can think of. Coming out of this game, it was such an ugly game by Tennessee's offense. You've made the quarterback change already this year. I think Garantano had 44 yards passing in this game. I just don't know what you're waiting on. This team is stagnant. They have not done anything. They're not even showing up in half these games, and somehow Alabama covers a 37-point spread in a rivalry game. And if you're Tennessee fans right now, you have to be asking your questions. And I think John Curry's got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because he could find himself in the crosshairs of Tennessee fans into the season as well.